So it's been almost 2 months since Rayman Legends Retold has been announced. And since this game is coming out pretty soon, I thought it would be a good idea to just come on here and talk about what could be possibly next for the Rayman series moving forward. Cause as annoying as it is, Rayman is in that category for platforming mascots that have just kind of been underutilized over the years. And I don't want Legends Retold and potentially Rayman 4 to be the only things that happens with Rayman. So I just want to kind of get on here and talk about what they could possibly do to kind of keep the franchise going while they make new games. Now let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room and the thing people want the most, which is Rayman 4. Now they actually have acknowledged Rayman 4 and they have talked about it a bit, but it's not what most people wanted to hear. They are willing to work on more Rayman games, but that's really only going to happen if everything with Legends Retold goes well. Now, I don't like this. The idea of just holding a game hostage behind the idea that this other game has to do well is annoying. And obviously not to defend this, but if we are being realistic here, I'm not surprised by this at all. This is just how it kind of works in not even just the video game industry, but any industry. Money talks, and if something does not sell well, even if it does well critically, the chances of them going forward with a new project is kind of 50-50 at that point. So yeah, I hate this. I mean, I really just wish they put more faith into just making a new game. But seeing all the work that's going into Legends Retold and how they're trying to make this game kind of be the foundation for new stuff moving forward, I do have some hope that Rayman 4 is going to happen eventually. Now another thing that I see them doing is re-releasing some of their older games. We saw them do this for Rayman 1, and even though that one didn't turn out the best, it wasn't the worst thing of all time. And then we got to see the same thing for Rayman Origins Enhanced Edition, which granted kinda had to happen because there was just no way in hell they were gonna remake that game alongside Rayman Legends. So remastering the game with new content was obviously the best way to go. So what would be the next best thing for them to re-release? Well, the obvious answer after the Rayman 1 Anniversary Edition would be for Rayman 2. And look, even though it's been joked to death that Rayman 2 has just gotten re-released over and over and over again, that was really only the case in the 2000s and early 2010s. Nowadays, outside of emulation, the only official way you can play Rayman 2 is on the Nintendo Switch Online service or through the PC version. So I think finding a way to re-release the game that isn't on an online service would be for the best. And I think there's really only two ways they can go about this. They can either re-release the game as a collection like they did for Rayman 1, or they could remaster the game based off of either the PS2 version or the Dreamcast version. Now of course, just in this year alone we got 2 remasters and 1 remake, so it's not really ideal to be getting any of these. I really would prefer if we would just get a new game, but if we were to assume that maybe this came out after Rayman 4 or just whatever the new Rayman game would be called, then maybe it wouldn't be too bad after all. And the same thing kind of applies to Rayman 3, as that game has seen way less re-releases than Rayman 2. The game was re-released as Rayman 3 HD, and even though you can play the game through backwards compatibility on Xbox One, some Rayman fans will tell you that this isn't really the best way to play Rayman 3 cause a couple things broke along the way even with all the improved visuals. But something tells me that if they were to do some type of modern day 4K remaster for this game, they're definitely gonna base it off of the HD version. Which if that's the case, I mean, it's fine I guess. I just hope that if it ever does happen, they do fix the issues that were present in that game. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Rayman 3 would actually be the next game that they release. Not only does the game hold up visually well to this day, but both Origins Enhanced Edition and Legends Retold has stuff that references the game. Granted, you can make the argument that they're doing that for both Rayman 1 and 2 and just the series in general, but just from the fact that the pre-order bonus for Legends Retold is specifically for Rayman 3 tells me that maybe that could be the next game that they look at. This next one is a bit of an odd choice, but still something that I can see the value in, and that is the re-release for Rayman Adventures and Rayman Mini. Both of these are mobile games that were released sometime during the mid to late 2010s. The only issue is that Rayman Adventures was linked to Ubisoft servers, and after those closed down, so did the game. And Rayman Mini was even worse because it was only exclusive to Apple through the Apple Arcade. And just last year that game literally got delisted, so there's probably a good chance a lot of people have not played that game. Now, some might be pretty quick to just kind of discredit these because, you know, they're just mobile games, so who cares really? But honestly, by the time these games were delisted and removed from the stores, there was so much content added to these games that I would argue that these could be released as a full game. Now, don't take that as me saying that these games are up there with Rayman Origins or just the original Rayman Legends, but you could get a good couple of hours out of these games and what they have to offer. And it shouldn't be too hard to do. I mean, both Jungle Run and Fiesta Run are available on PC for about $5. So I imagine it really couldn't be all that hard to do the same for Adventures in Mini. I mean, all you gotta do is just tweak the game a bit to make it offline, make sure all the content from the base game and all the updates are there, slap a $5 price tag like you did for Jungle Run and Fiesta Run, put the game on Steam and Ubisoft Connect, even though I would never use that, and just like that you got 2 decent Rayman games at your disposal. And while we're at it, just throw Jungle Run and Fiesta Run on Steam as well. Even as a massive Rayman fan, I can't imagine getting Ubisoft Connect just for the purpose for those 2 games. So putting them on Steam would just feel like the smart decision here. Now, what about spin-off games? I know Jungle Run and Fiesta Run and Adventures in Mini could technically be classified as spin-off games as well. If I'm being completely honest, I think Rayman is not going to be getting any spin-off games anytime soon. Unless you're in the big leagues of being a platforming mascot, the chances of getting a spin-off game and it doing well is pretty slim. So I figured the next best thing would be that Rayman would be appearing more with the rabbits, but even that seems pretty slim now. I feel like the presence of the rabbits have been going down over the years, and even though Rayman appeared alongside them in the Sparks of Hope and that game was received very well, apparently the game did not sell all too well, and now the chances of there being a sequel is slim to none. Honestly, the only game that I can see that can do somewhat well is Rayman Arena, and even then I don't even know how they would go about handling it, as I feel like their best choice is to just put it on NSO for the GameCube, as the chances for that game to get a sequel is very small and even a remaster might not do all too well. So looking over all the possibilities, I would say there's a good chance that the next few years are going to be mostly focusing on bringing Rayman's older games to newer systems so that way newer fans can experience them. So that way they can kind of build the Rayman brand back up a little bit after just being dormant for so long. And hopefully, and I really do mean hopefully, due to the success of Legends Retold and all the new interest in the series, this can lead to Rayman 4 and even more new games down the line. But with that, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know there was a few things that I didn't get a chance to really talk about, like Rayman's handheld stuff or any other potential crossovers, but honestly Rayman has been doing crossovers for quite a while, so I didn't really feel the need to mention it. And when it comes to Rayman's handheld stuff, I feel like those would be bundled in with like the console versions of whatever collections they want to do next. So yeah, just wanted to mention that before anybody asks. But yeah, as I said before, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you all next time.